Pesachim Daf Lamed Beis. Today in the Beis we had a very big schus of having a big Talmud Chacham, and somebody who was with the shir for over 2 years, the R Eli Stefansky, come visit us, and he came with a giant box of chocolates for the guys, and he wrote a note, L'chvoid Rebelli, here's 8 minutes worth of chocolate. Hope it lasts that long. And he goes on, the Yedidus R Eli Stefansky, a big schus. Thank you very much for visiting. Dov Harris from London, also big schus. I'm going to skip around there. He says, I cannot tell you how much I've gained from the shir. Learning with the Rebelli has just taken all my learning to another level. Baruch Hashem, I can learn, but Rebelli brought the challenging Irvin Sugis to real life, and I was genuinely desperate for the next daf each day. When Pesachim started, I encouraged a number of people here in London to join the daf and to follow your shir. Shout out to Avi Bar, David Goldberg, Jonathan Fisher, to name a few. The Eibishter brought Rebelli into my learning program now, and I'm very thankful for that. Dov Harris, partner, thank you. We're starting off with a beautiful Mishnah about Truma. We know the Torah says that if someone who's not a Kayan eats Truma b'shoigig, by mistake, in order to get a kapara, he has to bring to the Kayan a keren v'chaimish. The principal plus a fifth, and nowadays it's called 25%. We're going according to the mandam. It says lefi mida, by volume. You pay back the truma by volume, not by value. So therefore, if a person ate truma on Pesach, which was chametz, the truma was chametz and has zero value, it doesn't matter. He needs a kapara, bring back. You ate a box, bring back a box. However, if he ate it b'mezid, he doesn't get a kapara. He has misa b'dei shamayim, and this has no value. We treat him like a regular gazlan. A gazlan doesn't have to pay back if it has no value. The Brisa says if a person consumes truma, either he eats it, drinks it, anoints himself with it, tzicha, he gives the kain keren v'chaimish, the principal plus the fifth. What if he ate the fifth? This is the Brisa, tremendous chiddush. We treat the fifth like truma, so you'd have to bring a fifth on the fifth. Now, what if he ate 4 zuz value of truma, and by the time he came to pay back, it was only worth 1 zuz? Does he pay 1 zuz or 4 zuz? According to everybody, he pays back the 4 zuz because he's no worse than a regular gazlan. And the Torah says, "V'heishiv es agzei lasher gazal," a double lashon, to teach us you pay back. The gazlan pays back as the time that he stole, so too as the time that he ate it. The question is, what if he ate 1 zuz value and the value shot up to 4? So Rabbi Yosef brings a raya from the case that if a person ate dried figs and he paid back with dates, dates have much more value than figs. Tavai olav bracha should receive a bracha. Now, this is understood if he paid back, if we go by the shita that he paid back by value. So he ate a box of dried figs and he paid back a box of dates, which is much more valuable. Tavai olav bracha. But if he pays back by value, he, let's say, ate 10 figs and he paid back the same exact value in a 1 date, why should he receive a bracha? Says Abai, I'll explain to you why. Perhaps it's easier to sell 1 date than 10 figs, and that's why he deserves a bracha. We learned in our Mishnah that if a person eats trumas chametz b'shoigig, he pays keren v'chaimish. Now, if he has to pay based on value, there's no value, so he shouldn't be paying anything. Says Gemara, that's not such a great raya. Perhaps our Mishnah is going according to Rabbi Yosef Glili, who holds that there is value on Pesach because you're permitted to benefit from chametz on Pesach. Well, if that's the case, how do we explain the Seifa? The Seifa says that if you eat the truma b'mezid, you don't pay anything at all because it has no value. Well, it does have value according to Rabbi Yosef Glili. We must say that Rabbi Yosef Glili holds, like Rabbi Nechuni ben Akana, Kim le'b'di Rabbi minei. When you have when a person deserves 2 punishments, you give him the larger punishment, the worst punishment, and he's punished from the other one. Over here, eating truma yichayiv misa b'dei shamayim. Only Rabbi Nechuni ben Akana holds this, that even misa is considered a punishment b'dei shamayim, and therefore he's pater from paying back the keren v'chaimish. We're going to see 2 brises. They're basically identical, with different manda amrim in them, but the second brisa answers Rebbe Akiva's question, whereas the first one doesn't. The brisa says that according to Rebbe Akiva, who holds, he pays back based on monetary value. So if a person eats truma b'shoigig, he's pater. It has no value on Pesach. Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri says he's chayiv. Why? Because obviously Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri bases it on value. So there's a kapara. Asks Rabbi Akiva, but it has no value on Pesach. Says Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri, what about truma tmeya? Also has no value, and you have to pay a keren v'chaimish. Says Rabbi Akiva, truma tmeya does have value. It's during the year, it's tameh, you can't eat it, but you could light a fire with it. You could give it to the dog. No answer. The same brisa with different mandamrim. You have Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov saying the same thing like Rabbi Akiva to Rabbi Elazar ben Chisma. Over here, Rabbi Elazar ben Chisma answers, I hold like Rabbi Yosef Glili. It has value on Pesach. We see from here that the first brisa, Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri, didn't hold like R Eli Stefansky. The Gemara has a discussion. How much does one need to eat in order to be chayiv? According to the Tanakama, it has to be achila. The Torah says achila. You have to eat a kazayis. According to Abba Shaul, it has to be an asina. The Torah says v'nasan. You don't give somebody less than a pruta. It has to be worth a pruta. What does Abba Shaul do with the word achila? Oh, it has to be something that you consumed, you ate, you drank. But if you spill it on the floor, you're a mazik, you don't have to pay kerem v'chaimish. And what do Chachamim do with Abba Shaul? It says in the Sina, they learn that it has to be something that's roy l'kodesh. In other words, like food. But money, you don't give money to the kohen, you only give him apples. The Brisa says that if you eat a fruit that has the pruta value, but it's less than a kazayas, something very interesting. Again, it has the full value of Abba Shaul, a pruta, but it's less than a kazayas or rabbanon. What do? You pay the keren, the principal, and not the chaimish, not the fifth. But the problem is, according to Abba Shaul, once it's worth a pruta, like in this case, he should pay the chaimish. Comes Rav Papa with a big bomb, and he says Abba Shaul holds that you need two things. You need a kazayas and a pruta. In addition to the pruta, it has to be a kazayas. The Gemara tomorrow is going to show how Rav Papa himself retracted that. But the Gemara over here just asks one final question. From the wording of the Brisa, it seems that this is not true, because Chachamim tell Abba Shaul that this halacha that you need a pruta is only by me'ilah. And by Truma, and they use this wording, Einoi chayev achi bekazayis. Now, if Abba Shaul was machmer and he held you need two things, they should tell him kiven sheyesh kazayis. It's enough that you have a kazayis, not you need a kazayis. So from here you see that Abba Shaul only says you need one thing. You need a pruta, you don't need a kazayis as well, like Rav Papa. Have a wonderful day.